One sec. Hi, gorgeous ladies. It's Sophie Musamechi. I love nothing more than interviewing our clients and sharing with you what their progress has been like, what some of their wins have been like, and any lessons that they have for you as well, because they're on the inside, they've walked the path before you. And so the stuff that they share is really gold. And I want to be able to share that with you. So thank you so much, Robyn, for joining me. How are you?
Really good. Excited to be here.
Of course, she's excited to be here. Now, Robyn, whereabouts are you? So I'm in Sydney and you live.
I live in Idaho in the United States.
Would you have thought that you would be working with someone on the other side of the world?
No, I'm not super surprised, with the internet and different stuff, but it is fun when I tell people that I work with an Australian team.
I've got an Australian team, and the accents, we always love like sharing that back and forth too. And that's the great thing with having an online coaching business, is that you can have clients, you can build relationships, connections, have a team from anywhere in the world, which means that you can be anywhere in the world as well. So share a little bit around what you do, where you were before we met, and where you are now. Like, what does that look like for you now? There's a little bit of delay in our internet, so if you're watching, just bear with us. We're just going to run with it. I'd love to hear.
So where I was before seems like a lifetime ago. Like really. But I had a coaching business that was just kind of in and out of something. It's interesting because I had no concept of what it could be until I came into Sophie's programs. And then learning how to make an offer, learning how to come in and have the support and all the things. I don't even know how to put this journey into words, Sophie. Where are you now? Where are you? It's just like,
been a while, isn't it?
It's wild. It really is wild. But coming from a place where it felt like it was so hard to find the people that needed what I felt like I could give. And then it felt so hard to feel like people to believe that I could be compensated for my years of work and creating this product, this offer, this experience that I knew other moms could have. Like, I didn't know how to conceptualize any of that. And feeling like people would pay for it, and feeling like how much could that be, and going from feeling like $2,000 to $4,000 a month was just like the way it would be or where to go, and then being like, oh, we could do like 20 a month or 30,000 a month. Like, what? Anyway, that kind of.
How does that feel when you think back to the Robyn before we met, and now knowing, because one of the good things that you shared with me is around how different your life is at home, the time that you take for yourself, the boundaries that you put in place for yourself. And then, yes, the financial aspect is great. What does that feel like when you now can remember back the Robyn before versus like how you're living your life right now?
One of the things that comes to mind often is I lived in a lot of what I'm calling push energy, where I pushed things. Everything was, I had to make it happen. Everything was hard. You had to work more, you had to hustle longer. It was just like, I'm not doing enough. There was never, I had to keep doing. And what was interesting is that in my business was spilling over into my relationships and into my parenting, into all those things. I didn't recognize that until I had done some mindset work in Sophie's program and being coached through, well, why are you doing all of those things by yourself? What's going here? Where's the resources? Where's your, and I was just like, oh yeah. Like I like being resourceful, just really doing that. And so now it's like I have a business, I have the thing working, but also in my relationships, I have, boundaries there, and I'm learning how to uphold what I need so much more clearer. And it's just been awesome to see that yes, I can ask my children to help, and I can ask my husband to do that thing, and I can being more, I think what it is being fully seen myself, seeing myself and allowing that to be seen is then allowed me to ask for what I need. It's almost like I finally see myself even, and that's changed how I live. It's been so cool to see that building a coaching business is also building myself.
Oh, it's been beautiful to watch and to be part of as well. What about now that you have that in your life and that's how you're showing up in your life and the belief and the value that you see in yourself, how does that make you a better coach for your clients?
Well, it's really interesting because as I was going through my own journey and coming to a point where I had something I felt like I wanted to share, that's the same journey. Like it's the same journey of being seen in different stages of your own growth and your own self. And so as I've been more fully seen and being better supported, finding that the support was there, being able to receive has been a big thing in my journey. I see that in all of my clients because there's a million coaches out there, but they choose me because my stories relate to them. My coaching style is what they feel, what they like. And so it's fun, it's relevant as a coach to see these women come and have this kind of the same experiences or the same words, because then what I'm doing and moving through is so much more relevant. It helps them. All the transformations are better. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Yes, it's like the more that we evolve individually and in our own businesses and our own lives, we start to vibrate a frequency that is higher, and therefore we're able to support and attract clients that are also of that higher level vibration. Now, you specifically work with Christian moms, right? So, yeah. So just tell a little bit about what you do with your clients.
So with Christian moms, the reason I moved into that niche is, number one, I believe in Jesus Christ. That's the foundation of Christianity. But within that culture and within that belief, for many years, there's been a patriarchal kind of order of things. The man is the main authority or the main earner or the main, and that is a very age-old, ancient idea. And yet within the culture that still prevails. And so I found within my culture of faith that there was an issue here with Christian moms feeling like they were in second always. They could not see themselves as an individual first, before marriage, before children, as an individual alongside Christ. And that was just so powerful for me to be like, look, I'm an individual first. We can do this. We can have our dreams. We can contribute to humanity alongside our husbands and our children and all the other things that we value inside of our culture. So I help women to kind of step into their individual selves first and how to shift those belief systems so that they can shine and have their dreams no matter what faith they're in.
Right? It's so powerful, because then there's the knock-on or the ripple effect, as we talk about, right? For that woman who is able to now see herself and, have her family as well see her in that way, what she's able to do and the growth and the impact that she's able to have on her children and her community and in her career. It snowballs from there. And this is what we're talking about. So this is the power of learning how to get your coaching business, not from just where you're great at coaching, but actually having a business. Now, I remember the first interview we ever did together. It wasn't long after we started working together in the Wealthy Woman Mastermind, because we've got two programs. So Robyn's now in our advanced program for our Wealthy Woman Ascension clients. And then it was just really like, hitting those first big numbers. When you think back to that, and then now, like, that was you doing it all by yourself, right? So you're doing all of the marketing, all the sales calls, all the coaching yourself. Whereas what has that transition been for you like over the last few months, where you've gone from a team of one, to now having a team and being able to grow more?
Well, I feel like my business is like my baby. And so I've kind of had this maternal feeling over it, which I think is common and normal. But when I thought about hiring a team, it was like not only that expense, but also like now I'm fully seen. Is my business ready to be fully seen? Can I have somebody else come in? But what was cool is when I let go, if you will, of the full reins and had these people come in and work in my business, they're so excited about the mission too. And it was just like, oh my gosh, she can take that part and we can amplify what we're doing. And it's like the business just takes off and it's like its own thing now. Whereas kind of like it was in me and mine, and now it's like out here. And I've just seen the energy shift just with that. I didn't understand the importance of getting a team was more than just delegation and time freedom for me, but it actually is a step of like evolution for your business, of actually letting other people have their perspective on what it is. When I hear my assistant talking about, I love the mission, I'm excited about this, and I'm just like, yeah, like this is so cool. So that's kind of how it was for me.
It's beautiful. It's so great because in the beginning, it's you. You've got an idea, you've got a vision around what you want to create, how you want to help people. And then when people see and they go, I want to work with you, like, yeah, like I love that mission. And then they start, it's almost like you get that fresh bit of energy, you know, as well, because, you know, getting it going and getting it to a certain level takes a certain amount of focus and commitment and growth and shifts in your mindset. But then having someone else come in, and it's so nice because then they're like, yeah, this is great, let's go together. So that's awesome. So what does the future look like for you, Robyn? Like, where are we going this year?
My goodness. It's really interesting. I have a retreat for my clients twice a year, and we're coming up on our spring one in the United States. I know it may be different. I'm just watching this, but my assistant who works with me now, she actually went through my program, and she's been a friend that I've had for several years. And we've done some different things together, but she mentioned to me, we're doing this retreat and the registration all filled up. And she goes, Robyn, do you remember that conversation we had that one night in this hotel? We went to a leadership event together and shared a room years ago. And she's like, I remember you sharing you had a vision of a retreat. My goodness. A retreat for moms that wasn't affiliated with any specific, like a product. It was just for moms to go and have, goodness, it's just a place for moms to go and be supported and have a total mom's weekend away. And she's like, do you remember that conversation? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I didn't know how that would come about. I didn't know if it would just be some random thing, but as this business has evolved and grown and the message of it is getting out there, I put up that next retreat. Our first retreat, it was just a few clients that came, and I put up that retreat and it was like full in just a couple of days. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was like, I opened it up, like not just for clients, but these women that have been watching me that want to be in my space and they want to, they're like, I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, Robyn, this is like the fulfillment of that dream. And I was like, oh my gosh, it kind of is. And then my mom even messaged me. She's like, I remember you talking about wanting to do a mom retreat. This is so cool to see. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people like remembered my dream. So I just see that it's like, it's just taking on a life of its own. And I'm excited to see it grow. And I'm excited to see the mission like really expanding even outside of my clientele, but just like people watching the posts, people coming into the free community and seeing this message. They're wanting to be part of anything, if they didn't want to come become a client right away, then go to the retreat and get these certain pieces. And so I just see it growing and growing and growing. I see the retreats growing. I see that as an opportunity to like show them they can join the program. I see it growing. I just see it getting bigger. I'm looking at hiring a few team members already right now for different, ad things, marketing, and getting a lady to do video. I don't know. It's just like, it's growing and the sky's the limit, I guess. That answers your question.
It's so exciting. What do you think about, is that possible for any woman? What you're doing? is it possible for anyone?
I think so. If the dream is there, like if the real concrete why is within you, definitely.
And what would you say, you've met a lot of our clients, we've been working together for about a year, a bit longer than a year now. What would you say, having experienced and met so many different women who are growing their coaching business, what do you think is like it's not like an X factor that someone has to have, right? Like, it's not like, you have to look a certain way or act a certain way or talk a certain way. But what do you believe it is that is the difference between those that do and those that don't?
The word that's coming to my mind is clarity. That it's not about your skills or your anything. It's about the clarity of the mission, the clarity and the depth at which you believe in it, the belief that you can visualize and see that, like, that drives almost everything for me. And I have seen the women that have succeeded within your program or elsewhere, they're so clear, so crystal clear on what it is that they're standing for, what they're done with seeing, what fires them. They say sometimes, go where you're envious or go where you're pissed off, go like what's happening that's not okay with you that you've seen, these steps. But anyway, I know that's a thing we could teach in coaching, but I think clarity is probably what I'm gonna stick with there. Clarity on your mission.
Yeah, I think it's a strong one. Same for me. Like, I could, even in my growth, I had really clear around the business I wanted to create. And then once I got to that level, I was like, oh, well, now what? Because it happened because I was so clear and I was focused in the actions that I was doing and how the beliefs, I was really working on my belief systems. But then when you get there, I was like, oh, okay, I need a new one, or I need the next bit. So that's why I was asking before, what's next for Robyn? Because that's also really important. What would you say to someone who isn't quite there yet, and maybe they're watching this video? They're most likely considering working with us, or maybe they're just having a look around our website. What would you say to them right now around, how to move forward and get to where they want to go?
Be willing to experiment. You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times when I think back to why I wouldn't make a decision or whatever, a lot of times it was either my own fears, just like, what if it's a waste? What if it doesn't really pan out? And just flipping that around to curiosity and saying, but what if it does? What if it does? If anything, you're going to know, and you will never have to sit and wonder if you do that. Like, go and figure it out and do it to the best that you can with just no attachment to results, but just go do it all and see what you learn in the process, because you don't know. Like, you can't say that it wouldn't or would work. You don't know until you've done it. And so if it's something you're looking at, gosh, the testimonials are there, the support is there. Go in and go all in, like, do it all and see what happens for you.
Yeah, I love that. Go all in. Just back yourself. And with I was going to say something that I've totally just forgotten, but thinking about the woman who's watching this right now and where she might be in herself, maybe lacking a little bit of belief, maybe unsure around investing in herself. When you think back to when you were at those $2,000 and $4,000 months before we met, having to take the leap and back yourself, and obviously there's the investment in growing and learning the skills. When you think back, are you proud of yourself? Like, when you look back at the person that you were when you made that decision?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because the only one can do this. And one of the things, and I'll share with this what I was going to say. I was going to share with you some of the things that I've noticed about Robyn as a client that I think would help someone watching this video to see, okay, what actually does Robyn do that helps her to get the results? I'm going to share that. So Robyn is a trust the process. Like, if I've said yes and I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. So she follows the process to a T, and then she makes it her own. And what I mean by that is that it's not about being a cookie cutter of me or being a cookie cutter of Robyn or being a cookie cutter of anyone else. It's about, there's a process and a system and a support team there to take you through something. And then it's about making it your own, right? You work with Christian moms. I'm not religious, right? So it would be silly for us to share the same thing. And that's the great thing about it. Together, we're actually able to impact an even greater, level of woman or men, if you work with men. But I would say that Robyn, she's committed. Like if Robyn says she's going to do something, she's going to do it. And if Robyn doesn't understand something or things aren't moving how she would think that they should be, then she will ask really great questions. You don't go and hide. You don't go and get into that self-doubt mode. You might, be disappointed for a minute, as we all do with business. But then you're like, okay, I'm curious. This is what I was thinking. What do you think about this? And you ask just really great questions to get that clarity, which is what you said before around having that clarity. And then if things do come up, she shares them. Because when there's no point in having a support team, like there's no point coming to work with us or with any coach or going to work with Robyn if you're a Christian mum. There's no point going to work with anyone if you're not going to be vulnerable enough to actually really share what you think and what you believe and what's going on in your heart. Yeah. So if you do watch this video and you do decide to work with us or Robyn or anyone else, like play out 100%, as in follow everything. Come to all of the classes, ask great questions. If you get stuck in fear or doubt or shame or guilt or any of those other emotions that don't serve you, lean on the team, because that's what we're here for, right? And when you do that, your business will boom. I'll be interviewing you, or Robyn will be interviewing you if you go to work with Robyn as well, right? So I just wanted to say a huge thank you, Robyn. This is the second interview that she's done with us over her time, and it's so great. And I'm so excited for where you're growing. And from a numbers perspective, because I love numbers, and I know you do too. She's now using all my trackers, and she's loving tracking her numbers, which is so important if you're looking at growing. What's the goal per month before the end of this year?
Well, it was really interesting because I was just working on some affirmations and some different stuff. And I realized my affirmation was saying, I am growing a $15,000 a month coaching business. And I was like, what? That was months ago. And it's just crazy to hear myself say that. Oh, that was months ago. And now within months, because before it was years to grow. Anyway, to just say, oh, well, in a couple of months, I'm sustaining a $50,000 a month coaching business. But I changed that because I have an app that reads me my affirmations or whatever. And I was just like, I can't believe that still says $15,000 a month. And I'm like, I remember when I was freaking out when I made my first $10,000 a month. And now it's like, oh, we just did 28K this month and we're going to do 50K in a couple months. Like, that is so cool. I think it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh gosh, so that's where we'll be for sure.
And here's the reason why I'm 100% confident this is going to happen. One, you've got extremely strong foundations in place, right? That's what we had to get really solid. Two, you have amazing belief and energy around your worth, your self-worth, and that the work that you do is highly valuable and that your clients need you, right? And then three is that you just take action. Like, you just are such a joy to work with. So if you're seeing yourself in anything that Robyn's saying, I highly recommend you just reach out to the team and let's have a conversation, because you can, if Robyn can do it, if I can do it, if the other videos that you've watched, if they can do it, you can do it, right? You 100% can do it, regardless if you're brand new, still in a job, or if you were like Robyn and me and had been kind of doing business for a while, but it just wasn't connecting together. Yeah. Any final words for you from you, gorgeous woman?
I don't think so.
Like, I've said it all.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's do your 50K interview in a couple of months, right? Maybe even this month. Thank you so much, ladies. I hope you found this valuable, and we will see you all very, very soon. Much love. Bye.